What's up, guys? This is Coach LaRussa from MakePlayz.com, welcoming you back to another episode of Film Room Fridays. I've been on the road for the past month, from East Coast to West Coast, and I'm finally back home in Virginia, ready to bring this series back each and every Friday. I know we missed a few, but we're going to get right back on track each and every Friday at 5 p.m. Now, today's breakdown is brought to you by IC2C, an app that gives you instant access to college coaches at any level, while also allowing you to follow teammates and fellow recruits. The cool thing is it's free to download, free to use, so take control of your recruitment because your future is now. Download IC2C in the App Store today and join the movement student athletes everywhere are becoming a part of. Now, in today's breakdown, we're going to take a look at 5-star forward and Duke commit Marvin Bagley.
There had been rumors going around for the past few months that Marvin Bagley might reclassify. And this week, the rumors proved true as Marvin Bagley, the number one player in the 2018 class, committed to the Duke Blue Devils. This move changed things at every level and moved him to the number one spot in the 2017 rankings, and moved him in as the favorite for the number one pick in the 2018 draft, and it moved the Blue Devils to the number one recruiting class of the year. So with all this hype, what does Bagley actually bring to the table? Let's break it down and see for ourselves. Pace and space. It's how today's game is played. So as a big man, the first thing we're looking for is whether or not you can play at the right pace. That means running the floor and making yourself an option in transition. And in Bagley's case, this comes naturally because of his high motor. Aside from the skill you'll see on display, I want you to notice his motor throughout the entire breakdown. Rim running and sprinting the lanes is not a skill. It's an effort level and a mindset. But what separates Bagley is that not only does he run the floor well, at 6'11" he can push the break himself. Most times, teams will send a guard back on defense when the shot goes up. So if Bagley rebounds and pushes the break, he can find himself with numbers and a clear advantage over smaller guards. This isn't something we see every day, and it's one of the reasons that Bagley is such an intriguing prospect. He's one of the most versatile bigs we've seen in a few years, and he's going to make a major impact in transition for the Blue Devils. Now we'll go to the half court and take a look at his ability to dominate the paint. 4-out offenses are becoming increasingly popular at every level, and in this case, Bagley can be used to flash into open spaces in the paint. He's got great hands and he's a very good finisher around the rim. This will allow guard penetration because teams will be very reluctant to help off of him. And it'll also open up the floor because he'll draw so much attention in the lane. But where he separates himself from other bigs is his polished skill set when catching in the post. Traditional big men seem to be a dying breed, but I will say this, post scoring will never go away. Just because you make yourself more versatile, add in perimeter skills, you should never neglect the development of a strong post game. This is something Bagley understands, and it's one of many reasons why NBA scouts think he'll be an elite big man at the NBA level. Versatility means you can impact the game in a number of ways. So as a big, if you learn how to shoot the 3-ball but are a non-factor in the paint, you're actually not versatile at all. Marvin Bagley dominates the paint, and as you'll see soon, he can also work from the perimeter. That's true versatility. So now that we've seen him dominate the post, we'll take a look at his ability to take bigs to the perimeter. This is an area where mismatches occur. Many times bigs have a hard time guarding the perimeter. So when Bagley attacks from the top of the key, the wings, or the corners, he'll often get a step on him and get to where he wants to go. He keeps it simple, using only as many dribbles as necessary. And what this does is it forces opposing bigs to leave the paint, opening up driving lanes for others as well. And if teams decide to put a smaller, more versatile matchup on him, he can simply take them back inside. This will also allow for Duke to use different lineups. They can easily play Bagley and Carter together, but they might even try an occasional big lineup with Bagley on the perimeter and Carter and Bolden inside. I'm not sure I'd go that route, but the point is that with Bagley, they're able to use more combinations with more size, and that'll carry over into the NBA as well. On the same topic of playing from the perimeter, it's crucial to be able to knock down the 3-ball. If Bagley had a broke jump shot, opponents would just sag off, taking away his driving lanes. But because he can knock it down, they're forced to guard him from the perimeter. But right now, he's not a lights-out shooter. He shot 29% from 3 during high school and 23% in the EYBL. So to me, this is a process for him. He definitely has good mechanics on his shot, so as he progresses from high school kid to pro, this will get more and more consistent for him. In today's college game, we're seeing more and more teams run a 2-3 zone, mainly because it clogs the lane and eats up time on the shot clock. So teams need a guy who can flash into the high post or short corners and go to work in those spots. This is a unique weapon that Duke just acquired with Bagley. 1, he's a huge target for getting the ball to the middle of the zone. 2, he has the poise and skill to attack in a crowd. 3, he's comfortable knocking down the mid-range jumper. And 4, he's big enough to see all of his options as the defense collapses on him, which will result in wide open threes for the Blue Devils. Bagley averaged 26 points and 16 rebounds in the EYBL, and of those 16 rebounds, 6 of them came from the offensive glass. These effort plays result in second chance points and extra possessions. This is what you call having a nose for the ball and rebounding outside of your area. It just means you actively pursue the ball by any means necessary. And although I love the skill set that we've broken down thus far, this area is actually what put Marvin over the top in my mind. I just like competitors and hard workers, guys who aren't above getting their hands dirty in order to get the job done. This will pay dividends throughout his career, and it'll result in a lot of winning along the way. Next, we'll take a look at him on the defensive end of the floor. At 6'11" with over a 7-foot wingspan, good athleticism, and a quick jump, you can imagine why Bagley is considered an elite rim protector. He averaged 3 blocks per game, but the real value is in how many shots he alters at the rim. At the end of the day, he'll make guys miss when he rotates over to protect the rim. And as we broke down earlier, he does a great job of grabbing boards as well, with 10 of his 16 coming from the defensive end of the floor. And when you put it all together, Bagley is a double-double machine who can impact the game in just about every category. He's got all the tools to become a high-level pro, but in the meantime, enjoy the show.
Thanks for checking out today's breakdown. Tune in next week for another episode of Film Room Fridays at 5 p.m. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next week.